meeting to order, please. Before we get started, Representative Moore wants to introduce everyone in the room. Oh, you can recognize guests.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to introduce a guest I have this morning. A constituent of mine and student at Lafayette High School, Kiara Clements, is normally a page every year, but due to our temporary status, convening on top of the parking garage, we don't have the daily pages, but she's able to be here and shadow with me today. So I ask that y'all help me make Kiara feel welcome while she's here with me. Thank you.
Glad to have you. Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to introduce two special guests we have here in the audience today, and that is Katie and Allison Carr. They're two of my constituents from Owensboro. They drove in at a ridiculously early time this morning to get here. I want to thank you for coming, and let's let them know that we appreciate them being here.
Oh, it's just yes or no. Okay. Anyone else? Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Representative Baker. Here. Representative Blanton. Present. Representative Bowling. Here. Representative Bridges. Representative Chester Burton. Representative Dossett.
Present.
Representative Flannery.
Here.
Representative Fugate.
Here.
Representative Hancock.
Here.
Representative Johnson.
Here.
Representative McCool.
Here.
Representative Miles. Representative Moore.
Here.
Representative Smith. Representative Watkins. Representative Wesley. Here. Representative Whitaker. Representative Williams. Here. Representative Bauman.
Present.
Representative White. Here. And Chair Gooch.
Here. You're here? Okay, we got you. Okay, it's not a problem. Thank you all for being here. I, too, have no shortage of 8 o'clock meetings, and so I know what it takes to get here even by 9. So on the agenda, we have 3 items we're going to discuss today. I'm going to go a little bit out of order and do House Bill 313. No. Yes, 313 first. Introduce yourself for the record and your guest, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ryan Bivens, House District 24, have with me today, and I'll let her introduce. She's the brains behind the outfit, so I'll let her introduce herself.
Good morning, Gracie Kelly with the Kentucky League of Cities.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today we come to you with House Bill 313. House Bill 313 is very small and very simple. It's probably the shortest bill that's ever been drafted, written, and presented to any committee. Basically what it does is, under current statutes, a city must provide 18 months notice to a utility provider before a contract expires. All we're asking to do is strike that 18 and make it 6.
We have a motion and a second on the bill. Any questions or any further discussion? Representative Bauman has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, going from 18 months to 6 months, I appreciate that. Can you just explain why?
Well, I think it's common sense, first of all. You know, you start to think about when you are maybe rebidding or trying to prepare for the future. You know, obviously, yes, you want a little time, but you start thinking about a year and a half. A lot of things can change in a year and a half, whether it be markets, whatever. You not only have the potential to get whoever this is, the city or municipality, being in a wrong position financially, you could have that provider being in a wrong position. And I know most all utility companies are in favor of this as well. I think it shortens up that window, and like I said, it just makes good common sense. I'm sure there was a reason once upon a time to go 18 months, but I think we've outgrown that reason.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Representative Baker. Yes. Representative Bauman.
Yes.
Representative Blanton.
Aye.
Representative Bowling.
Yes.
Representative Bridges. Representative Chester Burton. Yes. Representative Dossett.
Yes.
Representative Flannery.
Yes.
Representative Fugate.
Yes.
Representative Hancock.
Yes.
Representative Johnson.
Yes.
Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Miles,
Yes.
Representative Moore,
Yes.
Representative Smith, Representative Watkins,
Aye.
Representative Wesley, Representative Whitaker, Representative White, Representative Williams,
Yes.
and Chair Gooch.
Yes. The bill does pass unanimously. So we look forward to hearing your bill on the floor. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.
Great. Next, we're going to do House Bill 60. Proceed. Introduce yourself, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. John Hodgson, State Representative, District 36.
Steve Rawlings, Senate District 11.
If we look familiar, it's because we were here this summer with an extensive presentation on what has become House Bill 60. This is the geoengineering ban, and I do have a proposed House substitute I'd like to consider.
Motion on the sub, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I have a motion on the sub. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Okay. Representative Johnson, did you have a question or? Second, okay. And Representative Flannery, was yours a motion on the second? Okay, that's fine. Chester Burton?
I'd just like to hear the sub information.
Sure.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, since this summer, when we discussed the science of this bill and what we're trying to achieve, we've had a number of interests come to us, including telecommunications and agriculture and solar energy and wind energy, wanting some specific exclusions for their industry, which were not the target of this bill. So we were able to put language in there to hold them harmless for ground level agricultural operations, solar panels, windmills, things like that. It's just a caution to make sure that they don't get a frivolous lawsuit. We didn't change anything about the main substance of the bill, which is to ban geoengineering.
Okay. Do we have a motion to pass PHS sub 2? Motion, second. Any other questions on the sub? If not, all those in favor signify by saying all. Saying aye. All opposed, say all. Okay, thank you. So that the committee sub is before us.
Okay.
Any-
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Briefly, geoengineering is the idea, I would say a misguided idea, that we can play God with the weather, that we can inject chemicals high up into the stratosphere, things such as sulfur dioxide and aluminum, to reflect sunlight back into space and prevent the Earth from warming. Some people think this is conspiracy theory, but Congress actually mandated the Biden White House to do a study on this, which was released towards the end of his term. They produced a white paper, which you can still see on the web, that advocates experiments in this area to try to cool the Earth off. In addition, the Trump White House has produced an EPA website that explains the government's involvement in geoengineering and attempted weather modification for about 80 years. So it's something that people think is possible. Some UN actors, some government actors, some meddling billionaires think that playing God with the weather and manipulating the weather is a good idea. We don't think it is. So simply put, the bill says if you are attempting to use a balloon, a rocket, or an airplane to spray pollutants into the upper atmosphere to block sunlight or modify the weather, don't do that over the skies of Kentucky.
Motion on the bill as amended by the sub, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Second. Blanton has a question. Representative Blanton.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I have two questions, if I may,
Sure.
and I'll be very quick. So, understand the intent, know what you're trying to accomplish here. We don't need to be trying to play God with our atmosphere. But with my background, I'm just wondering, you're giving law enforcement the ability to charge someone with a Class D felony. It tells the penalties on here and so forth. I'm just wondering how, if they're flying over, they could have come from another state, how they're going to identify who these people are. How are they going to track them down? I mean, they're not going to fly up there and shoot them down, obviously. So how is that supposed to work?
Well, sir, the only way law enforcement would be able to prove that someone has done this is if they find an aircraft on the ground and can access spray tanks, chemicals, that sort of thing. So it would require a pretty sophisticated investigation to determine if someone was spraying harmful substances. It's not going to happen casually, but it's probably the altitude that you have to spray sulfur dioxide is above where most commercial airliners fly. It's around 60,000 feet. So, but you'd have to do an investigation, probably have a whistleblower, somebody on the ground, identify, here's a spray rig, here's the tank, here's the guy that loaded the tank with chemicals and that sort of thing. It's not something you're going to be able to spot from the ground.
Okay, question number 2.
Sure.
On the last page, begin on line 1 through line 5. It's saying that if this occurs, that by federal government agency or official, the arresting officer shall issue notice to the appropriate federal agency or official of it. I'm not sure that we can charge a federal agency with a state crime. I'm just wondering about that section.
Yes, sir. That's why it says, doesn't say charge. It just says issue notice to the appropriate federal official.
What kind of notice would that be?
It's like, hey, your guy's out here doing something illegal in Kentucky. Can you come get him?
Okay. All right. Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
I
Chairman.
don't think local law enforcement would actually be enforcing
That's correct.
this.
Yeah. Certainly not not on a federal official.
Right. Any further questions or comments? Yes, Representative Watkins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for bringing this back, Representative, and I know we heard a lot over the interim. My question is going to be around universities. I believe there was a subsection here, there's a line that talks about colleges and universities, and I'm just wondering if this would have any impact on research, like legitimate research. My mind immediately goes to agriculture, and sometimes research on cloud seeding is done by universities in the event of droughts and such, and we've had historic droughts and such all over the country. So can you speak to that?
Yes. So the very last paragraph of the bill specifically exempts agricultural activities close to the ground level, crop spraying, herbicides, all things you might do with a crop duster, even with a drone. As far as cloud seeding, that is banned. There are about 8 or 9 western states that allow cloud seeding. They have a regulatory framework around that. Senator Rawlings and I have talked extensively to these cloud seeding companies. That's not something done in Kentucky right now. It's not licensed. Frankly, I'd rather they do their experimenting somewhere else, and we can always change the bill in future years if we decide we need it. But the cloud seeding industry uses a product called silver iodide, which mimics the formation of ice crystals. And they can go up into clouds now with drones at about 15,000 feet and spray silver iodide and try to increase the rain output of that cloud. But you wouldn't be able to see that because it would be a drone. It would be invisible to the eye. It'd just be inside a cloud. But there have been allegations that some of this cloud seeding may have gone awry, could contribute to floods. So let's let the other states figure out if that's a good idea first, and maybe we can look at that in a couple of years if it's necessary here.
And actually where this bill is supposed to be, you're talking about 50,000 feet or above, there aren't clouds pretty much at that level. Most of the clouds are at much lower levels where these type of activities occur.
Yes, sir. Cloud seeding occurs at below 15,000 feet typically, whereas the spraying of things like sulfur dioxide and aluminum would be at 50 or 60,000, where it takes specialized aircraft to get there, or a balloon or a rocket.
Thank you. Representative White?
Yes, I think you pretty well answered the question.
Is your mic on?
Yes.
Okay.
Has this, you see comments I've received that it's happening in Kentucky, but you're saying it's not. Is that right?
Well, sir, I don't think anybody can prove something is not happening. I can say when people look up in the sky and they see a white line behind a jet aircraft, you can look at your radar app on your phone and figure out that that's Delta or Southwest or UPS, and that's probably an ordinary jet contrail. As I told Representative Blanton, there's really no way to tell from the ground what that is. You would have to track an airplane, see where it landed, and see if there is a harmful substance in some kind of a spray tank that they were spraying. But to do true geoengineering, you're going to have to be flying above the level that most commercial aircraft fly. And there is an exemption in here, by the way, for normal jet aircraft engine exhaust from unadulterated fuel.
Okay. So when they do a spray, can it be visible at 50, 60,000 feet from the ground, just looking up?
there are not a lot of commercial airplanes can reach that level. It's mostly military airplanes. I think it would be difficult to detect with the naked eye. Sulfur dioxide, when it disperses up there, is somewhat invisible, but it does at the molecular level block sunlight. That's typically what's released when a volcano erupts, is millions of tons of sulfur dioxide, and an eruption in 1815 caused a famine in the world the next year because crops wouldn't mature because there wasn't enough sunlight. So that's the kind of thing we're trying to avoid.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Representative White. No, Smith, I'm sorry.
That was close to my question, but I was, for the sake of social media, can we clear this up? Do you know of any incidents that you have record of that we've had seeding in Kentucky?
No, sir, I do not. I've seen a lot of suspicions of that. I've never seen any hard evidence.
So we can clear up that we're not doing this in Kentucky over the last so many years, that they haven't seen this in the sky, because I've gotten the same type messaging. And so I just wanted to make sure we're clear on that. This bill isn't to stop what they've done. It's to protect us in the future.
In the future, yes, sir. This is an expression of our state sovereignty, telling the federal government, the United Nations, don't come experiment over the skies of Kentucky in the future.
I just want to clear that up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Representative Wesley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question. Appreciate the bill. Enjoyed the interim discussion about this. Has there been any other states involved with something like this that we know what's been going on? We're tying this in today with them.
Yes, sir. There's been similar legislation passed in Tennessee and Florida, and I think somewhere around 30 other states are considering similar legislation. 34 total right now. So it's when the Biden White House put out a document that said we want to do these experiments, that's when we leapt into action as a preventative measure for the future. So I think other people are catching on. The Trump administration has expressed an interest in doing some kind of a nationwide ban, even a global ban, because obviously weather and pollutants drift between countries and continents. So, but this is really an expression of our Kentucky sovereignty, saying don't do that here. We don't want silver flakes coming, or silver iodide or aluminum flakes coming and getting in our groundwater and our soil and our crops and things we eat.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Let me say, I actually had a bill to do this several years ago, about the time we were talking about. Bill Gates was mentioning it, and former President Biden was mentioning it. And so, but I think at the time, it just seemed so far-fetched that people would think they could play God, that the legislature didn't take it up, because I think it was just too beyond the pale of reason, that, and we didn't do it at that time, but it certainly is something that's probably needed now. Representative Moore is for our final questioner.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. A question for you, because I think I get emails, and I bet a lot of other people in this room get emails too, what are typically probably the standard contrails that come out of commercial flights that you say that can be observed from the ground, and what you're talking about cannot be observed from the ground. My question for you is, are we looking at a future in which we are overly burdening law enforcement? Will they have to investigate or follow up on any type of complaint they're getting when someone sees something in the sky, or just comes to them with these complaints, curiosities, and allegations?
I think law enforcement is going to have to use some discretion, because to have any kind of a case, you would have to find an airplane on the ground, find a whistleblower, find somebody saying, here's the substance that somebody put in a tank that this airplane was spraying. So just seeing something in the sky, no, I don't think that would be sufficient cause for law enforcement to go investigate. I will say, I've been in commercial jet aviation my whole adult life, and there's been an enormous increase in the amount of contrail activity that's out there, the white lines in the sky. That's an atmospheric phenomenon that happens when upper atmosphere humidity is high, and it usually rains a couple of days later because the upper atmosphere humidity is high. But we've got a lot more flights over here than we used to. We've got a UPS hub, we've got DHL, we've got Amazon. Kentucky is being crisscrossed with jet flights all the time. And the Airlines for America trade organization actually considered reducing the altitude of the flights from the 35,000-ish feet down to 25,000 to reduce the visible emissions of those contrails, which is mostly water vapor. But they said you'd burn so much more fuel that you're actually adding more pollutants to the atmosphere at that level than you do at 35. But yeah, I don't like seeing it either. You still get beautiful blue skies here, but that's always, without question, it's a day with low upper atmosphere humidity. You can actually predict if you're going to see contrails the next day or not.
Thank you for that clarification, and thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. And let's say too that flying aircraft at much lower altitudes is the atmosphere's a lot rougher,
Yes, it
and
is.
so you're not going to get a smooth flight if you fly too low. So it's true. That's something else to consider. Thank you. We do have a motion and a second on the committee substitute, the bill as amended by the committee substitute. So with that, I ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Representative Baker? Yes. Representative Ballman?
Yes.
Representative Blanton?
Aye.
Representative Bowling?
Yes.
Representative Bridges?
Yes.
Representative Chester Burton?
Yes.
Representative Dossett?
Yes.
Representative Flannery?
Yes.
Representative Fugate?
Yes.
Representative Hancock?
Yes.
Representative Johnson? Yes. Representative McCool?
Yes.
Representative Miles? Representative Moore?
Yes.
Representative Smith? Representative Watkins? Representative Wesley? Representative Whitaker?
I'd like to register my attendance and vote yes.
Representative White?
Yes.
Representative Williams?
Yes.
And Chair Gooch.
Yes. Okay, the bill does pass with favorable expression. That same should pass on the House floor. You gentlemen did a good job, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman,
Thank you.
and thank you for your pioneering work in this several years ago.
That's right.
Thank you. Okay, next we are going to do House Bill 397. Also, I do think that we have a committee substitute
Motion on the sub.
2. Is that right? PHS 2? Okay, there's a motion on House Committee Substitute 2. Any second? Any discussion?
Discuss for the sub. I'd like to hear about the sub.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Go
Mr.
ahead,
Chairman. DJ Johnson representing the 13th District.
Shane Nome, President of Roebling Solutions on behalf of Safari Club International.
So what the committee sub changes with respect to the original bill is two things. One, it changes, the original bill had any subsequent infractions of this law would have been a Class D felony. We changed it so that all the infractions were Class A misdemeanors. And the second thing it does is it adds in a provision that if someone is found guilty of violating this law, they have to pay a $500 restitution for the fact that they've killed a natural resource.
Okay. Motion on the sub. I'm sorry. All those in favor of adopting House Committee Sub 2 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by like sign? Okay, the committee sub is now before us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. House Bill 397 provides parameters and an enforcement mechanism to protect an endangered Kentucky natural resource known as trophy catfish. Before getting into the language of the bill, I need to briefly provide some background information for perspective. First off, why am I investing my time and why am I investing your time in this issue? For the record, I am not a fisherman. I rarely eat fish. I don't like baiting hooks. I don't fish. But I do expect that I do believe that we are expected to be good stewards of the natural resources we enjoy today, including trophy catfish. Having said that, while probably not a sport that all of the committee members are personally involved with or even have knowledge of, catfishing is a beloved and time-honored tradition for many Kentucky residents, and in fact, fishermen around the country. So much so that high-dollar catfish tournaments are held on rivers throughout the country. Catfishing is so popular in Kentucky that owners of pay lakes who stock catfish can be found across the Commonwealth, and commercial catfishermen make livings catching, transporting, and selling catfish to these pay lakes. The combination of these tournaments and commercial fishing holes provides our residents a great recreational experience and adds to the economic health of our state. And the most sought-after prize in these tournaments is the trophy catfish. There are multiple types of catfish, more than I would care to get into a discussion about here, but the one thing that they all have in common is that they grow to huge sizes. In fact, a trophy catfish can grow to be as much as 100 pounds. These older, larger fish are much desired as trophy fish. And for the purposes of the discussion today, we will be discussing catfish that measure 35 inches or longer. So typically, the catfish designation is based upon length. The issue that led to proposing House Bill 397 is the catching of these trophy catfish for commercial purposes. In short, and this is the crux, in short, it takes 15 to 20 years for a catfish to reach trophy size. Left alone in their natural habitat, they can live much longer than that. But when removed from the river and placed in a commercial lake, their lifespan is much, much shorter. That expected lifespan is subject to debate depending on who you ask, but it is accepted that a trophy catfish will only survive in a lake environment for a period of months or even weeks. The math is simple. If we continue to remove a natural resource that takes years to create and place them in an environment for only a period of weeks or months, we will eventually deplete that resource entirely. That is what is happening with respect to trophy catfish. After much study, discussion, and research, House Bill 397 proposes to take the necessary steps to protect a Kentucky natural resource and allow the catfish population to recover to previous levels. Basically, the bill makes it illegal to transport live trophy catfish, which again is 35 inches or longer, for commercial purposes except by boat. The bill does not apply to fish caught for personal, non-commercial activities. It doesn't apply to fish transported during tournaments and festival events, and it does not apply to catfish under 35 inches. It applies only to live trophy catfish. It designates each violation of this law as a Class A misdemeanor, and it also stipulates that anyone who violates the statute will be required to pay $500 restitution to Fish and Wildlife for each violation.
Motion on the bill as amended by the sub, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. We have a motion and a second on the bill. We had someone sign up to speak. I think it's Nick Hart with Kentucky Waterways Alliance. If you'd like to come to the table, we don't have much time today, and so what I would like to do is maybe if there's any questions, we can address them for when all of you are there. So please introduce yourself for the record, who you represent, and the floor is yours.
Hi, sir. My name is Nick Hart. I represent Kentucky Waterways Alliance, but I'm a registered lobbyist with them. We want to thank the representative for bringing this bill. Thank you very much. I am a fisherman, and I do fish for catfish on the Ohio River. Probably one of the only people that you'll find throwing flies at them. And I want to say the conservation community supports this bill. If you all know about Kentucky Waterways Alliance, one of our 3 pillars is celebration of waters, and that's what this bill does. It celebrates the opportunity to continue to catch trophy catfish on the Ohio. I do want to say that removing these fish, these are the breeders. These are the fish that are going to create the next stock, and they're the fish that are creating the fish that I am going after with my fly rod. The conservation community is behind this, and we like to do anything we can to support it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Let me ask you a question. I'm more of a traditional a worm kind of catfish, but that's still okay, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you. We have 2 members that have asked to make a comment or have a question. Representative Miles.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Representative, for bringing this bill forward. I know that in our area we have had many tournaments, and I know that this is very important to that group that puts on the tournaments and brings a lot of economic development to our area. The one question I do want to ask, I just want to go on the record to make sure this has no effect on changing the Butler County Catfish Festival that happens the first week of July of the catfish wrestling or the catfish catching.
You are correct. House Bill 397 does not impact that festival in any way.
Very good. Thank you.
Representative Blanton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Wow, I may have to make a trip to Butler County. I want to see catfish wrestling. Definitely. Never heard of that. My question is, does this bill, is it particular to certain bodies of water, or is this a statewide, or does it lay out that?
It's statewide. It's basically is referring to removing them from the rivers and taking them to wherever the commercial destination is.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Flannery for a final question.
Comment and a question, please.
Okay.
Representative Johnson, thank you. I know we've talked about this. I've had a lot of commentary from constituents and others on this. I do think this committee sub is an improvement, taking out the felony, making it a misdemeanor. I've talked to many people on this. My question is, what is the distinction? I think this may have been what Representative Blanton was possibly referring to, but there's a lower Ohio River trophy catfish and then a trophy catfish. I take it that trophy catfish would be universal across the state, but what's the specific distinction in paragraph 1A?
So that actual paragraph, and I didn't get to mention this, I'm smart enough to know when I hear motion on the bill to shut up. But a second part of this bill is there's a licensing issue with a very small number of people that have a special license for the lower Ohio River catfish area. And there's a slightly different distinction, a definition of the length of the catfish that they're involved. But what that particular part of the bill does is rather than allow those special licenses to go on in perpetuity, it sets a deadline for those licenses, and those individuals with special permits will have to apply for the standard commercial license like everybody else. So for the purposes of this conversation, the lower Ohio River catfish falls into the same category as the general definition of trophy catfish.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we have a motion and a second on House Bill 397 as amended by House Committee Sub 2. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Representative Baker?
Yes.
Representative Bauman?
Yes.
Representative Blanton? Aye. Representative Bowling? Yes. Representative Bridges?
Yes.
Representative Chester Burton?
Yes.
Representative Dossett?
Yes.
Representative Flannery?
Yes.
Representative Fugate?
Yes.
Representative Hancock?
Yes.
Representative Johnson?
Yes.
Representative McCool?
Yes.
Representative Miles?
Yes.
Representative Moore? Yes. Representative Smith?
Explain my vote, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to pass today to make sure I get a few answers on concern for my constituents. And so I'm going to pass today to allow it to move to the floor, and hopefully I can get that cleared up once I find out what their issues are. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Watkins? Aye. Representative Wesley? Yes. Representative Whitaker?
Yes.
Representative White? Yes. Representative Williams?
Yes.
And Chair Gooch?
Yes. Because the bill does pass with favorable expression, that same should pass on the House floor. So congratulations, gentlemen. And let me just say that having this time slot at 8 o'clock is very difficult, and I will try not to bring you here at 8 unless we have to. But I think this particular meeting shows that we can meet at 9, have 3 pretty complicated bills, and still get out before the next group wants this meeting. But because there's a reason for that, and the reason is that all the presenters, when people brought questions, they addressed those with the committee substitutes. So they tried to address people's concerns. They worked the committee, and that is very important. That when you come to a committee where you talk to the people, you explain your bill, that does help immensely. And I thank all of y'all for that. And the results are evident that you all did that. So with that, this meeting.